Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so what are we looking at right now? Well, a trade for James Harden has just been rumored. Nothing concrete, nothing has actually happened, of course. But Ticket TV, someone I often check out, brings us a lot of stuff that he hears around the way. Brought us to the table the Portland Trail Blazers' interest in possibly making a move to acquire James Harden from the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, I did the math on that, and essentially James Harden's contract is expiring at $35 million. What you would need is a salary match, obviously, in a situation like this. Yusuf Nurkic is $16 million. I don't remember how many years on that thing. I think he might have like 2 years left on it. I don't think it's expiring. But something like that, 16 million bucks. And then you can also take Anthony Simons at whatever the heck the other number is. I think it was 20 something a year, something like that. Point is, that's what makes you get the salary match there. You can take James Harden, Furkan Korkmaz, gives you the entire amount for Simons and Nurkic. Now, Simons and Nurkic, you may say, okay, is that the return that Philadelphia wants? Well, I tell them with the circumstances you got going on, you'll be lucky to get anything around that. It's probably the value you expect to get. That's like the best value you're getting. I'm not giving you no picks for James Harden. I'm not. And the reality is, because he's disgruntled and now wants out of there, I don't know that I should have to throw in a player the caliber of Anthony Simons to get James Harden right now. I don't know that I want to do that. If I'm Portland, I probably think I can get a better trade for Anthony Simons, and I probably expect when Philly gets Anthony Simons, his value's going up. That's an ascending piece for them. As to where if I'm bringing myself James Harden, nah. But that's not why I'm bringing myself James Harden if I'm Portland. This is not exactly a championship move. This is a buy myself some time move. How do I look at this if I'm Portland? I'm bringing myself an expiring contract on a high-level win-now player that fits the timeline that Dame ultimately is seeking. What we have done here in Portland in this situation is push Dame out effectively by choosing Scoot Henderson over Dame Dollar. The problem is, with Dame expressing his unhappiness with that, the plan has run into a wall. You can't make the move. You can't make the trade. You can't get him to Miami. So you scrap that entirely. That's over with for you. If you're Portland, you're moving on from that. Now, if you're Dame, you still want to get to Miami. But we're talking about from Portland's perspective. Portland's perspective is they want to get the best opportunity for themselves. And if they make a trade for Dame Lillard, they're not going to get that right now. They're not getting the value for Dame they need. So what I want to do for myself if I'm Portland is buy myself some time. I need a season to plan. I need a season where everything is not on me right now to make moves that are going to alter my franchise for the next 6 years. I need a year to plan out the next 6 years. And that's what bringing in James Harden's expiring contract does. It gives me a year where I don't have to worry about moving Dame. Because if I bring myself James Harden, I'm not moving Dame. You got a win now team. You got another player that's of the caliber of you. Y'all two should be able to go up there and beat anybody. Now, that's not actually what I think, but I don't give a damn because that's what I'm selling. If I bring you James Harden, we ain't making no more moves this year. This is a year Dame gets to give his last hurrah to the Portland Trail Blazer fans, because I guarantee you, at the end of the year, we're going to find a way to get him to Miami. We're still trading Dame. And James Harden's coming off the books. And that's why I bring James here. If James is on a multi-year contract, I ain't got no interest in that. But what this allows me to do is get 2 multi-year contracts of win-now players off of my books to allow me to reset when Dame does get traded. Now I got Simons out of here, Nurkic multi-year contract out of here, James Harden off the books, and an opportunity to have planned a way to ascend the value of Dame Lillard to get the trade for him that I want by slapping him next to James Harden in a win-now situation and let them go out there and ride it out, have a fantastic year together, and then wave goodbye to Portland fans as we start our rebuild next season. That is what I'm doing. And I'm taking that Jeremy Grant contract next year, same time James Harden's coming off the books, and I'm sending that somewhere, anyone who will take it. And that's going to be me resetting my entire situation around Scoot Henderson, who's still here because I ain't trading him in this situation. He's just going to have his rookie year next year, coming off the bench for those 2 guards this year, and he'll be in a situation he won't like. I am planning to make him the guy, though. It just has to be a situation where he's going to learn behind James Harden, and Dame Lillard for a year, because that allows me to solidify not having to trade Dame Lillard right now to make moves that are ultimately going to get him off to the worst start by having no vets around him and telling him to have the keys to the car in a Western Conference that just is logjam. There's no way Portland's going to even win any games if that's the way they do things. So they're not getting better if they trade anything that they're expecting to trade right now. But if they bring James Harden to them, keep Dame Lillard, keep Scoot Henderson, keep Shaedon Sharpe, and get some of them multi-year contracts off their books, now they've positioned themselves to not only be a win-now team this season, but they position themselves to open the door up for a better rebuild when they decide to next season if they do. And if for some reason they love what they see, now you get to re-sign James Harden. You got Dame Lillard, who likely doesn't want to get the hell out of there because he liked playing with James Harden. And you got Scoot Henderson going into year 2, so he's still not demanding to start necessarily, even though you probably want him out of there to start if you're his representation. And you got Shaedon Sharpe, who still has the free reign to do whatever it is that he's ultimately going to do in his development. And Jeremy Grant, again, is a contract that I do believe very strongly the Portland Trailblazers should get rid of. Probably can't get rid of it now by way of the rules. I don't think you can move that thing, but I would definitely move that thing to Philadelphia instead of Anthony Simons if for some reason that was possible. But I don't think that that's what Portland would choose to do, given the fact they just signed Jeremy Grant. Just because I'm low on him doesn't mean that they actually are. They just paid him, so they probably like him for what it is they're doing, even though that contract is disgusting. But nevertheless, we're thinking about what Portland would want versus what I think is best for Portland, and I do think they want to keep Jeremy Grant. So in this case, I'm giving up Simons, again, who's on a multi-year contract, I think 2 or 3 more years, and Nurkic, who I think is on a multi-year contract, 2 years. So it's like, let me get that off the books. That allows me to not have to worry about that. I got $35 million in its stead coming off the books next summer with James expiring, given that I'm about to acquire it. So all of this just like, it looks good, man. You just got to find a way to convince the Philadelphia 76ers that this is the return for James Harden that they ultimately should settle for. And to be honest with you, that shouldn't be too difficult given how bad things have gotten with James Harden. They should be very pleased to be able to bring back Jusuf Nurkic and Anthony Simons in a trade for James Harden, sending out Furkan Korkmaz, who I believe is expiring. They never really had the role for him, but he is a very solid shooter who has some experience in this league at this point. I think he would be a good acquisition for Portland. You're reuniting him with a guy like Matisse Thybulle. They played on the same bench together in Philly, so it's not, you can see how that'll be okay. So that's where my head goes, man. Furkan Korkmaz is not exactly a high enough cachet player that you would want to see in a return with this type of situation, but you understand that it's James Harden that he's attached to going out. So any value that you otherwise don't think he's supposed to represent, James is supposed to represent. Not to mention that he's expiring, which is a positive in this situation. And the fact that you're taking back Anthony Simons and Jusuf Nurkic, I could argue that is a solid return for Jusuf Nurkic and Anthony Simons if I were just trying to shop them out in the open market. I get myself back James Harden on an expiring contract for those two. I've won. I've absolutely won. That's good value for them guys. So I can argue I can make a better trade for Anthony Simons just the same, though. I could argue I can make a better trade than that for him. But the key for me is to get an expiring huge absorbent contract at $35 million. That amount I want free for me next summer, which is why James Harden is coming in. That's the main reason why James Harden's coming in, so I can have him coming off the books. Now, granted, you're going to have to pay some taxes on that contract. But I assume you have to also pay taxes on Jusuf Nurkic and Simons just the same. Those guys are going to be continuing to eat parts of your cap as their contracts, as have been said, are on multiple years. So I want that out of here. I want to reset my situation next year. I need a year to figure it out. So that's what it is, man. Bring me that $35 million because I can do good with that next summer with my rebuild. You know what I mean? It's free money. And what you can do with free money in a lot of situations, even though Portland's likely not going to be able to grab the greatest player in free agency. You don't expect the guy to go up there, whoever the best guy is next year. But you do expect that they can then make trades to acquire contracts that allow them to also attach picks to it. So, for example, I'm going to go get that Evan Fournier contract from the Knicks, and maybe they throw in a first rounder. I can go in and get Gordon Hayward, even though he's expiring right now. Somebody like that with a contract that's crazy. I would be able to relieve another team. Chris Paul's contract from the Golden State Warriors. I can go get that. Maybe take some players from the Golden State Warriors. Maybe grab Kuminga if they would be willing to throw him in for a salary dump, although I wouldn't. The point is, these are the type of things you dream up when you have empty cap space, but no free agent necessarily targeting your franchise. You make trades to help teams get salary off of their books, and in turn you acquire tradable assets as attachments. So that's how you move in regards to having free cap space. That's going to be my determining thought in acquiring James Harden. Free that crap up, free cap space. Hopefully we can attract somebody, but if not, we will use that cap space accordingly and be ready for trade. So that's really what it is, man. GMs got to see the fruit and bringing cap space to themselves, even though they're in small markets that nobody's going to come to, fam. You can use that cap space, you just got to know how to. And it's called acquiring draft picks, even if it's second rounders. Take a Fournier contract for 2 second rounders. Flip those 4 second rounders. Two ain't enough. Give me a bad contract with a bunch of second rounders attached to it. I will then take all them second rounders and flip them for either a first round pick or something close to it. You know what I'm saying? A second year player who can really go. Or something like a third year player who's not getting off to the greatest start, but I know he can play. A Davion Mitchell situation type play. This is how you get better. This is how you get better. You grab you one of them rookie contracts, something like that. Take on a salary dump, Tobias Harris type of situation where he's expiring. Again, another contract in Philadelphia they can move right now. This is how you create the cap space necessary to have the flexibility that a lot of these teams don't have. And a lot of times they're looking for mid-level vets at an absorbent amount to make their team better because they'll have the names on their little, players that likely wouldn't even be in the league if people would just see them for what they are. These are the guys you want to pay $20 million, $15 million to with the cap space given, and then you don't see the cap space as nothing to actually have if you're a player team like Portland or Cleveland, because that's all you can buy when you have cap space. But this is why I insert this idea. It's like, yo, don't do that. Just be salary relief. Don't seek out nothing. Just be ready in the open arm position to catch whatever salary dumps may be thrown out, because they're going to come about. Look at James Harden. We didn't know James Harden would be free. Now he is. And whoever has the ability to make the trade can get the player. So it's like, yo, just keep the cap space available to you. Just be ready to make trades and you'll be fine, I believe. So that's my thought. At the end of the day, Portland Trailblazers are in a firm, ready position to have a very, very good summer 2025 if they acquire James Harden and get a couple multi-year guys the hell out of there. Preferably Jeremy Grant, but likely Anthony Simons and Yusuf Nurkic. Move them 2 dudes to Philadelphia. Maybe Philadelphia can insert a third team to send Anthony Simons so that they can ultimately get back the value that he's actually worth. Or Nurkic if they don't want another damn center, which they have 100 of them. But the point is, that's the value going back to Philly for an expiring James Harden. Is that enough for James Harden in a nutshell? Honestly, of course it is. If you're paying attention, yes, that's enough for James Harden. It should be right now, especially with that trade demand. So that shouldn't be a problem, man. I think they should do that. And Dame should just be okay with that because you're getting to play with James Harden. James Harden only going to be there for a year, so if it doesn't work out, who gives a damn? Scoot Henderson, I'm sorry. I hate that this happened to you, but I'm sure you'll have Portland all to yourself next year if they do what the hell they're supposed to do. So that's pretty much it, man. And also bringing James Harden to you again, I think I've already said this, but it brings you an opportunity to raise the value of Dame Lillard because now he's not going to be on a team where the team's expected to suck and it's about a kid who's supposed to be replacing him and he's just kind of hanging around because they can't trade him. That's not a good situation for him to play in if you're trying to trade him. It's not. But if you bring him James Harden and you put him a part of a big three or whatever you want to call it, what Portland's about to have, and you make him a little quasi-type Phoenix team, and they're able to win 40 games, now you're looking at a trade for Dame that you love at the next season. Because not only is his contract aged even another year, but now he's coming off a season where yet again he's proven he's that guy again, but hasn't gotten the trade that he ultimately requested. You're more than likely to get a better return for him if he's slapped next to James Harden on a playoff team. Even though the team is going to lack some depth, I think with the rookie contracts of Scoot and Shaden, that should make up the difference for what it is they're eating up in the cap and what they're not doing on the floor. You're going to have a high-level team, them 2 kids, on rookie contracts. So that's not the worst thing in the world. The fit, I don't like the fit, but like the fit is trash now. You know what I'm saying? The fit is garbage with Anthony Simons. So moving Anthony Simons on multi-year deals for a guy on a 1-year deal lessens the length of having to deal with that logjam. That's why you move Anthony Simons for James Harden, because James gonna be the hell out of here very soon, and Anthony likely will not be. So that's what that does. It actually frees up that logjam. It's to where you only have to see it be a logjam for 1 more year. So that's what it is. You open the door for Anthony for Scoot Henderson next year. It's to where if Anthony's on the team next year, Scoot is still playing with another lead guard. If they don't move Anthony Simons, who likely could be re-up on his next contract with the Portland Trail Blazers. He may never see the end of Anthony Simons being his running mate. If they keep on this path, Anthony's a young player who's only going to be better. He's only going to get better. You move Dame, Anthony's going to come in and average 20-plus points. You don't want that if you're Portland, because you want Scoot to be the guy. So it's like, move Anthony, bring in Harden. Harden ain't taking the guy label from anybody in Portland this year. It's not happening. And he'll just come there and just be a 1-year rental. Hell, you could trade him at the deadline. You don't even have to keep him all year. But if you want him coming off the books, that's the whole thing. So, yeah, man. Portland ain't got nothing to lose. There's no other way they would get a player like James Harden in their uniform. There's no other way a guy like Dame Lillard's likely going to play with a guy of that caliber at all. Unless he moves to where he's trying to go in Miami, he'll be able to play with a guy like that in Jimmy. But otherwise, I don't see a path to that. So this is what Portland should be doing now. That's what Portland should be doing now. You go get James Harden, you bring him in there for a year, you slap it all together, you know it don't fit. You know you don't care, because it's going to be about creating flexibility at the end of the season, so that you can start to rebuild, which is ultimately what you would rather do now, but you can't do with all these win now, multi-year contract guys on your books. Get that crap out of there, man. And you'll be home free to reset and rebuild. And if you don't want that, Portland, then you're not looking for the right stuff, because that's all you should want is a rebuild. That's it. Ain't nothing else. Dame wants out. You just got Scoot. You just got Shaden. They need to be built around. And this, in my opinion, gives you a very, very good start in that path, given that Dame has murked up everything with this trade demand. Now, if he didn't ask for a trade demand, a lot of this stuff wouldn't be as much of a problem. But because he did, you got to react to that. And this is a very good idea, in my opinion. So that's what I got to say, man. Hopefully that trade will be announced. I don't want to think about it. It makes too much sense not to do at this point. Clippers is out. Dame to Miami is likely out, at least for another season. This would give you that season where everybody can just sit back, start the season, have win now attitude, psych themselves into believing they can actually win a championship, even though they can't. But still, it's good enough for now to get guys to just sit back and say, I'll sit here for another year. I'll sit here for a year. I'm bringing in James at a high level. Yeah, I'll sit here for a year. Let's figure this out for a year. And like I said, Scoot's going to be in the logjam no matter what. It ain't no path to Scoot just having the ball this year. If Simon's on the team, he got to share it. If Dame on the team, he got to share it. If Dame, Harden, and, he's going to have to share it. So that's just what Scoot's in for. We know that. He wants to win Rookie of the Year. Not possible. Sorry, young fella. Get that out your head. It ain't happening. It's not, the path to you getting the Rookie of the Year in the Portland Trail Blazers doesn't exist. Too many guards. Too many other guys, bigger names, like Wembanyama, who got 40 minutes a game if they wanted. There's no way. This is it's literally not possible for Scoot Henderson, in my opinion, to win Rookie of the Year in the circumstance that's either currently constructed or the one that we're proposing they build right now. It's not happening. But we know he's good enough to win it, so don't get that twisted. But it is what it is, man. Fit is everything. It's only 30 damn teams. And because of it, you're going to have logjam situations and bullcrap happen, because some of those teams are going to do stuff they have no business doing. It just is what it is. So players and fans suffer. But nevertheless, that's pretty much my thought there, man. Hopefully James Harden can be on the move. And I hope all parties involved are open-minded, because this is exactly what I would do if I were the GM. And that's pretty much the end of it. So that's what I got. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching.